at 6. Okay, it's 6 p.m. I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Nashville Redevelopment Commission Monday, July 14th at 6 p.m. First item on the agenda is, after calling things to order, is roll call. We start with Member Plessinger down again.
David Plessinger here. Phil McCown here.
Victor Von Hart here.
Teresa Cobian here.
Paul Clark here.
Karen Bowden here.
Ed Curtin here.
Okay, and all the voting members, the school board member, our consultant, and town manager are present. Next on the agenda, item 3, approval of minutes from the June 9th meeting. Has everyone received those minutes?
We've got 2 guys.
Okay.
That's because I didn't get one. So second one. Well, no, I made another one.
Does everyone have a chance to review them?
I have currently.
Yeah.
Are there any additions or corrections to be noted?
I got a question.
Yes.
Item number 7, we end up paying
Yeah, what did we know?
consultant.
What now? 7. Okay. What about this new?
We gave up to $10,000 and
Not to exceed.
not to exceed.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna talk with Cynthia, who's the principal, and they agreed to keep it at no more than 10.
Then. Man, that's not it.
Any other questions, comments, or additions to the minutes? If not, I would make a motion that we approve them.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed, same sign. Any abstentions? Okay, that motion carries. Next on the agenda, item number 4, there's the review of submitted riverfront application from the applicant Moontown Brewing Company LLC. It's a renewal. Restaurant 16 Molly's Lane. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the applicant's renewal application?
I have. Yes, however, in the email that I got that had the, those that were PDFs, there was also, looked like application or something from the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. What was that?
I think it was the whole packet that you sent to state, Sandy.
Are you looking at this document? Application renewal for alcoholic beverage permit for the state.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
they're supposed to submit that with the application, just so you know that
this is the first time I've seen you.
some of them do it, some of them don't.
Okay.
In the application, it tells us that we approve, we
Right.
reapply for our other.
And I,
Okay, so you do have them already and.
We
License.
reapply for it, so I think it,
Okay.
can't remember the date it renews, so it's right near this time, it's already.
Well, help me because I'm a little new at this. I mean, if you have an alcoholic beverage commission license, why do you need a riverfront application?
no, this is part of the whole package, so they come here first
Yeah,
and get this approved by you guys.
okay,
Then they get a letter that says, you guys approved it, they attach it with this when they send this to the state.
you just haven't seen it in the past. Yeah.
I think Ferguson House or Nashville House has done
They-
it.
Really? Okay, well,
They could
good.
not get a liquor license without the information from the town.
I see. Okay, very good. It's helpful.
Okay. Question, any other questions?
Yes, again, the PDF that I got, a lot of the percentages didn't add up to 100%. And notice here they do in item 4. However, the alcohol revenue is 51.1%. I believe violates our requirement, right?
It's not a requirement.
It's a guideline. Yes, it falls, that's something I noted too. It does fall below our guideline. And
The way that I would look at it, and I don't wanna misinterpret anything.
All right.
but you've only been open since November of last year.
Right.
So they've only been open a partial year.
Correct.
And so typically the way that we have looked at things like this is when business is starting up, there are gonna be kind of things to work out.
Sure.
And so typically, I mean, I appreciate the information, but I think we wanna take a look next year. And the whole, honestly, to go back to the why all of this originated and why it was more than 50% was we didn't want to create this bars.
And this is not part of the staff.
No,
Okay.
we wanted a family environment in Nashville. And so again, there are guidelines and I'm not gonna tell him how to do his business. But ideally, it's gonna be, we'd like it to be more than 15, but we'd like it to be close. And I think the kind of the deciding factor, is it a bar or is it more of a family-like environment?
Right.
So that's how we got to the riverfront license was we wanted to see family environments, not bars.
Mhm.
So that was part of the reason behind the 50%.
Well, now then we had the discussion with Cooper's Alley, the president rightly reminded them that their percentages were pretty close to 50-50, and that we were encouraging a much stronger mix of food.
You have to start charging more for the tacos.
I've got some information. for you.
Yeah, okay, address us on that.
Before I remembered we had to renew this, we had already had a plan to increase our food sales because kitchen costs are the biggest cost. And whoever said it was too cheap is right. But we were basically focusing on street tacos and some other things. We're gonna add menu items that was already done before around the first of August. I've got some. I only brought 5 food. We're gonna add 7. I'll keep one second, remember.
Thank you.
Sandy, I'll give you this when I'm done.
Okay.
By the way, my name is Pete Mattingly. I'm the majority owner of Boomtown Brewing. Son Bobby is the general manager. He's the one that's here every week as well as all the folks, local folks we've hired, but I'm involved, but not as involved as he is. So we noticed the idea was simple to make foods, reasonable price, people come in and out. And it's working, but we also noticed that food sales were way down. Labor costs in the kitchen are way high, have been since 2020. And we also had people come in and turn around and say, what, tacos only? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And families come in and say, what, tacos only? Most little kids don't eat tacos, I don't think. Well, maybe some do, but say more than nothing. Yeah. So we've added these following items. We'd already had a Cuban sandwich, which is a big seller. We've in around 8-1, we're gonna have burger, burrito burger. I think that's spicy. I know it is because I love them. A chicken sandwich, grilled shrimp taco, because we had those a couple times. They sold very well. And a dinner salad for those who don't want just salad. And 2 kids items, cheeseburger, chicken tender, which are big sellers up in our place. So
Where is the other location? I know you said it.
Whitestown, Indiana, just
Oh,
north
right, right.
Whitestown, just north of north side of Indianapolis, Zionsville, Whitestown.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's really it. We think this will easily allow us to meet our food minimums and bring the food above alcohol percentage. We don't think it'll be an issue. We also 3 of these months we're in real slow season, so we didn't so much of it. But so we're looking forward to the next 4 months to see how it all pans out over the course of the year. So that's where we're at.
I think that's great. That's something I imagine that, well, maybe the applicant will give us some more information, and that sounds like an excellent plan. I think I'm the longest serving member on the commission, so I have maybe the most institutional memory. And from time to time, especially with it being not a full year of operation.
Right.
There have been, places where things have not quite, fit every box on the guidelines. This is one where this is an important one, right, for the reason, Ed described. The purpose is to have kind of family, environment. I think, we're all in the community and see that, you have that vibe, so that's, to see a plan to fit that. Speaking only for myself as one vote, I see everything else in order in the application. I see a plan, is something, and sharing my institutional memory. Every applicant eventually hits that 50-50. And especially the ones that have been in business longest and most successful tend to easily hit that mark. I imagine you will with these additions to the menu.
We're almost 2-to-1, not 2, 1.5 to 1 in Whitestown. Because we have a bigger expanded food menu. We have a small kitchen here, but we know after starting, we can do a lot more. That's why we're at this. And the other thing that bothered Bobby and I, we'd be sitting there in the afternoon and see people turn around and whether their kids liked tacos or not, it seemed like they were coming in because they love cheeseburger and chicken.
Very
We sell a lot of up there. So that's the adjustment. Bobby and them had already thought about it when we got the note from Sandy. They were ahead of us. Should have done that all the same.
Well, I'm also satisfied. We have in the past advised folks, this is our, this is a guideline we'd like to see each business address, so it looks like it.
Yeah, and we'll see next year, but I'm not 100%, I'm positive be above. So.
Very good.
Were there any other questions or comments? Questions of the
I
applicant?
appreciate you filling out the application when you did. It was-
Thank
Like you fill out your information.
Mhm.
Sandy, did we-
I met with Bobby 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he spoke about the struggles to get people to go down the alley.
Sure.
Just to go there, number one. So first you got to get them in the door. And so he's been reaching out to the neighbors in the community and trying to cross promote businesses. So he's very open to doing that, which is really cool.
Well, what about the signage?
Yeah.
What about the signage?
Like signage that,
I had-
hi, come down here and you.
You got a lunch for you out there?
Yeah, down the alley.
They do, but there's issues with that too. And Bobby and I've worked through that.
I don't understand.
Permission.
I don't know, so, yeah.
I did, yeah. Well, if, is there any further questions you have?
No, we enjoy being here and we hope to stay, so.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
How'd you pick Nashville?
My wife and I had all family had a place there 22 years or something,
Great.
out in the middle of nowhere. It's where we like it. But so we've known about the town, been involved, so. That was the building was the building we liked. There was some when we purchased it, there are some things that were of value, a lot of equipment, etc. So we didn't have to start from scratch, which we did before. That from a cost standpoint, it was a good. But yeah, just a good place. We realized the winter's gonna be slow, but we haven't seen busy season. We saw the end of it last year, but we certainly did see all. And even now it's picked up. I wouldn't say, yeah, probably exponentially since say end of March. So
Very
good. So yeah.
Well, we can all appreciate those comments.
Yeah, it's on our business here. I'm sure you have the same issues. But we'll deal with that as well. Not a game breaker.
Well, with those, all of that, I would entertain a motion.
I will move that we approve the application. Which one?
We have a motion to approve the application. Is there a second?
Okay.
Motion in a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Any abstentions? That motion
I'm
carries.
sorry, this is a little.
Teresa.
So what happens next is the council will have to sign a letter acknowledging this recommendation. And then I will email it to you and Bobby. If you want a paper copy, you can come in and get it.
Only if we need for, we will need a paper copy,
You-
we'll probably need the letter.
You will.
State. So
Right.
that's why we-
Right, so I can get it to you on Friday or Monday. Okay?
All right, thank
we
you.
would love working with the town.
Great.
Good people.
Appreciate it.
This is my
That's
copy.
your copy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so the last item of business on the agenda is any other business that may come before the commission. And I know David had a suggestion that I thought was worthy of discussion about keeping track of kind of for our own purposes, year over year. It seemed like a relatively simple spreadsheet that we could create. It sounds that I myself, a question arose. Let's ask Ed how much work this would be, right? Because Ed's our consultant, and if we don't want to task him with something is overburdening or a cost that we don't anticipate, anything like that, or maybe it's worthwhile. Maybe we have a cost that we say that's modest, and that's something that we should have. That would be my first question.
Okay, so, and I apologize for not having it for you tonight. But unfortunately, Sandy's schedule and my schedule over the last month really did not align at all. So she's going to give me all the information I need to update the spreadsheet, and I've already worked on it, so it's just a matter of kind of filling in the blanks. And what I was running into was when I tried to do it via the email information that got sent out with each of the board packets, was trying to make sure that I was getting the correct information for the correct year and all that stuff. So she's gonna get me all the information. If I can get that yet this week, hopefully I'll have it within the next week or two. That's sent out back out to everybody. So I apologize, it's taking me longer than I had hoped. But I think once we get that completely done, then it'll be easier to just keep it updated so that as we get an application, just for this plug in, go as we do that.
So all the data should be on the application.
Yes.
Which, without getting too far, which data are we going to?
So typically, the things that I look at are, and it's really kind of captured in number 4. It is kind of year over year sales. So what's the sales this year? What was it last year? So it gives us kind of a check. It also allows me to kind of see, are they going up or down, or what's kind of going on with that. We also look, and so I do food, alcohol, and in kind of any miscellaneous stuff. So
Merchandise, I see. Merchandise, least out here.
and then the other thing that I look at are number of employees. So those are kind of the big categories. If you want me to change that, I can, but those are kind of the main things. And the reason that I look at those is it really gets to the issue we ran into tonight was, are they hitting that 51% threshold, right? So we can kind of check that out. Because what they may give us, may say one thing, I would always like to kind of check it myself to see if it's adding up or not. Because then we can ask the question about what's going on. So that gives me the percentage for food, alcohol, and the merchandise. And then like to look at that from a total volume, because when you start aggregating everybody's business, it's kind of a big number for Nashville, in my opinion. It's I think
Good to know.
in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 million
Yeah.
sales, so. That would be, and when you start thinking about the number of employees, you know, it probably is anywhere from 350 to 450. That's a major, that would be, you know, any community would want 450 employees, so. That's the kind of thing that we're trying to, in part, get our arms around, one, because we always want to be able to have a story to tell to council of why this is a valuable thing. But I think the other part of the story is to be able to tell the people of the state that having this flexibility to create something like this is a big economic deal. It's not about selling alcohol, it's about economic development. It's about jobs, it's about, you know, people coming in the community spending money, so.
And that's supporting the community from
Right.
all the sales.
Yeah, sure.
And for those reasons, thank you, I appreciate that. For those reasons that Ed just described there, the big picture, it allows me, I'm gonna get on my typical soapbox and remind us, hey, what are we doing? Well, we're a redevelopment commission. Well, that gets us to show we're doing exactly what a redevelopment commission is supposed to do. And said we were gonna do back when we created the riverfront. So following the guidelines becomes especially important. Even though they are guidelines and we can have some flexibility, especially with a new applicant. But taking that seriously and then collecting this data really helps us do it smoothly.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Please log the owner's name and contact info. The other data you're collecting.
Okay.
One other question we've talked about before, I know it's not a requirement, but does he know that we'd like to have a CPA sign off on those numbers so that we know they're accurate?
I honestly can't remember what we require.
It's something short of that, for sure, because I remember there's a potentially a cost associated with that is substantial.
Yeah, I think that the issue, and honestly, I think what created the issue is we had an applicant that gave us the same numbers year after year. Yeah.
Identical.
Yeah,
So we got the identical.
but I caught it.
And so
Thank
it's
you.
like, okay, if you're gonna do that, then we
Yeah.
need to ask. So honestly, if it were my preference, I'd rather give them, if they're just gonna be honest with us and give us the information, I'm okay with that. But if we're running into a problem where they're not giving us accurate information that we can kind of track year over year, then I think we need to have a conversation with them and go, we need something with a little, you know. But we can do it however we want. The other part of that is just recognize that anything that we ask for from an applicant becomes public information. So I always try to be sensitive to that. But we feel comfortable.
Well, these applications then are public.
They are public.
Yes, okay, so, and they're fairly
Detailed.
detailed.
Yeah.
I don't know how I don't know how all this works in business here, so, well, I imagine most of them have an accountant anyway.
I would imagine.
And I think it'd be relatively straightforward.
They're not to get
Sign off.
them, they sign off, they're
Certified,
certified,
yeah, they're
and
certified.
they're
And
gonna,
that requires,
oh, then
more-
they're, because,
Putting their skin in the game.
yeah. It would be like if, when I was a practicing lawyer, if someone said, well, can you write me an opinion letter? I'm like, well, yeah, it's gonna be qualified 400 different ways because I don't have all the universe of information.
okay,
And it becomes, and then, so if they actually really need it for something, it's pretty expensive, right?
okay,
And especially when it relates to things like licensure and tax, you might be talking thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And the same thing with the CPA letter, if it's something that relates to licensure. or
We
tax.
required it of that money.
Well,
Or didn't we?
let-
Like, we didn't get it, and then when they came in the next year, said, please have your letters.
This says as a part of the yearly license renewal, applicants will have to demonstrate this requirement has been met at the location for which the license has been granted. This can be accomplished by providing a letter from the business's certified public accountant with the following information. It says can, it doesn't say require.
It's really up to us to either accept or change.
I know it's not required, but I didn't know if that had been discussed with him to provide it.
Well, see, that information's already, is available for them when they.
And when we last revised the guidelines, we came up with that. And we did bandy about the idea of some requirement. And in that process, asked some applicants about that and got the same feedback. Like I'm not just kind of making that up from my own
Okay.
experience. That's based on some of the feedback we were getting.
Well, that makes.
There's an expense.
Yeah, okay. Okay, fine, certainly can accept that.
How do you feel about that, David?
I'm not worried about this individual.
Correct.
I've got some words on the street that makes me concerned about one of the other applicants,
Okay,
because there's suggestion on the street that they're falsifying documents, not because of us, but because they can save on sales tax and this kind of stuff. So I just want it to be the same for everybody, so that when they reappear before us, that I have some confidence that they're giving us some real numbers.
I don't know how the state works, but I don't know if the state alcohol permit, if they talk to the Department of Revenue. I do think that they check to make sure there's no back taxes, but, it's just like us doing our own taxes, I guess, to some degree. It's a trust issue.
Get that? And I'm not asking you to require it, I'm just asking, can we just merely ask for it? Because if he's already got a CPA, it's just a signature.
Well, apparently not. Apparently there's an expense involved.
Can we revoke one after we do it?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
All we're
because it all
doing,
goes.
all we're doing
Is
is.
they get they-
We're just saying,
Alright.
council.
But what happens like the place in town that's kind of gotten in trouble and all that?
So there's really kind of, for Nashville, there was a two-step process. But come here, we end up being kind of the vetting entity for those licenses, so then we can make a recommendation to council. And ultimately, it's council that makes the decision. There's nothing that guarantees any of these applicants that we're gonna make a favorable recommendation to council.
Can council revoke?
The council, all council has to do is not provide the letter, and then they don't get it.
So no, can they revoke one that has already been?
Is it the alcohol has already,
I would say
The
no.
license comes from.
The
license
state.
Come from the state.
right,
So it's the state.
So what would happen, I mean, the way it would work is they, so somebody comes in, I come in, say, I want a license, you grant me a license. Then over the next course of the year, I do exactly opposite of what I told you all.
Mhm.
The next time around, when I come in and I go, well, I'm gonna change that, and you can go, yeah, we've heard that story before,
Right.
we're not gonna make a favorable recommendation to council, and council go, yeah, you've been a problem, so we're not even gonna provide this letter. If they don't get the letter, they cannot get a license to stay.
Well, that seems reasonable. I guess our concern, if we know something, but we strongly suspect something is flagrantly out of line,
We deal.
we could advise the council, and the council could advise the state. That would require that.
We do that in the course of the renewal.
Okay, but not in between.
Well, and I remember we had this discussion once before, and I said, in the hypothetical situation, that something was so flagrant
Yeah.
that it was just, they said they were going to serve tacos, and instead it was just a beer truck 24/7.
Well, or the
then-
numbers
Right.
are so.
Well, the
so
numbers-
suspicious.
The numbers I could never, once I'm not gonna go around with a magnifying glass and a sleuth hat to figure out the numbers, but I'm just saying something that's so blatant I could imagine a scenario like that where I simply would say, look, I'm gonna write a letter to council and say, look, I know I said, I gave my stamp of approval to this, or we could meet and discuss that, but we don't think that they're operating within guidance. So
We have to do it.
that would be really extreme. I think the more likely scenario is, and I think there was one applicant that it sort of self-selected out, because that had they come back, we might have said, look, there's so many questions going on, we can't recommend that.
I think the other avenue during the course of time from, you know, the application to renewal would be contact excise. You know, if we think there's a problem,
That could be, right,
Okay,
they would be the ones to go in and check.
yeah.
and that's fine, as long as there's some mechanism for them.
That would make sense. And I think last time we had a discussion on like that, that could be, right? And it could, if it's super blatant, it would almost be, we should do that to cover ourselves.
Absolutely.
We don't want to seem complicit.
Well, that's what they did, I'm saying. Took their license.
Like,
Yeah, they have to bill at least.
was like,
Trying to do that.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
well, there we go. So we did everything about board. Everything, we see how it works.
But none of that happened on our recommendation.
Yeah, but it could have. It had they come back to us, I could imagine, I would have had trouble saying, ignoring all.
Yeah, I
issue.
There was,
Yeah,
Well,
that's to say,
I'm just devil's advocate, a lot of that though was, at least from my standpoint, was hearsay. I didn't have any. Well, hard and fast. Information I can point to and say, yeah, they're really crooks.
I couldn't either, but that doesn't mean I'd have to vote for something that, right?
Oh, not for renewal, no, I agree. Yes. Okay.
It doesn't feel right, it doesn't look right, it doesn't smell right.
It's not right. Yeah,
Well,
no, we would have had serious issues.
anything else, discussion?
Thank you for bringing this all up.
I have a question.
Please.
I did not go to the council meeting, was it last week, last Sunday, did you guys go?
I didn't.
For the conference?
The town council meeting
Yeah.
is this
I
Thursday.
missed
Yeah.
Or you gotta go there.
You have to wait next spot.
it. Yeah, because it's about fun, we need to go, right?
Well, I was going to ask that you, at the very least, reach out to your council members, and give them your input as to this. I think there's still some questions out there that the rumor mill has it that if this comprehensive plan passes, that everything that's on the sidewalk will automatically be removed indoors. But that's still out on the street. So those council members are still getting these questions asked of them. As well as that we will be annexing, once this is adopted, that we are annexing everything that's in that paperwork. So just a little bit more conversation with them to get them to kind of understand.
At least one of the council people was on the steering committee, right?
Yes.
So Rex had,
And he wasn't at the last town council meeting last month.
so, let the record reflect that I'm metaphorically holding my temples and rubbing them right now. Because what we have before us is something we've already paid for. It's such a good example of a small town comprehensive plan that I would like to go to like a meeting someplace where, professional association and say, look what we did in Nashville. And they would go through it and go, ooh, ah, we could have an hour-long discussion about it. People would say Nashville really knocked it out of the park. We've already paid for it. And the more we keep putting it off, that's the only reason we have this $10,000 contingency, because we need our consultants to wrap it up. So it's only costing us money at this point for something that is, and I didn't write it. It was a collective process. And it was exemplary. I would want to show the backstory of how it came about in this hypothetical going to a conference and show us what we did. Just needs to be passed, and then we have it. And then from there on, it's a policy document that's ready to go out of the box. It becomes an example for the county, which is really struggling with their process right now. And it's kind of, the wheels have come off that wagon. At a minimum, we'll be able to say, here is an exemplar of the process and the output. And, 30 years ago, Madison, Indiana did this, and look at them today. If we wait another year, we're gonna be 31 years behind. We wait another year, we're 32 years behind. They've gotten tens of millions of dollars in that interim time, right? We're looking at a tiny little pot comparatively of innkeeper tax as if that's gonna fix all the problems at the county level. And I'd like to say the town has created something that can be, look, follow the example, go for it.
Or at the meeting, the whole sidewalk thing is one of the things that I brought up. The planning commission meeting, and very specifically said, it won't work anyway, because you will not be able to technically do ADA perfect sidewalk thing, because you'll be out in the street.
Yeah.
And even on a regular sidewalk, you only have two people walking in one direction, you don't have enough room for going back and forth, and to leave that out of there. But remember, the comprehensive plan is a guideline. It is not an absolute. Okay, it's to give you ideas that you may want to work on, or you may not want to work on, depending on what's going on in what section of comprehensive plan, whether it's the town or the county. So it's not an absolute black and white document. It is just a cookbook. And then how you cook that particular recipe depends on what ingredients you put on it in it, which are the ordinances. So, and I would, just as a personal thing, I would say that the people both in the town and the county have had ample opportunity in different venues to be able to comment on both programs.
Well, at the last town council meeting, there were folks that spoke up about particular issues, and I think they were all addressed.
They were all what?
Addressed. I don't think anyone went out of here thinking that they had not had their opportunity to comment, or that it was being ignored. So I think we'll see some positive action.
Well, at the last meeting that we had, meeting before, the
Right.
room was full, people standing up everywhere and everything.
Oh,
The
yeah.
next meeting, it was
Yeah.
the representative from the company, and I think two other people.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So,
So I won't be able to attend on Thursday, being Franklin Central High School on Thursday, but I would write to the council members just to say a mild version of what I just described, because nothing happens without their legislative action.
Correct.
It's a set of policy documents that has been substantially shaped by public input, including all these concerns, including the concerns about the sidewalk, including concerns of what's this with annexation, all these things. Right, so they've all been addressed, and it just needs the council people to recognize, when to go forward, we just need to kind of rip off this Band-Aid, prove this, and now what? Now we're gonna have to work on our plan commission and so forth, because we have to review it and renew it and up with things. That'll be it.
And then we can apply for some grants.
And then, again, I can't wait, and then I will start my counter as well, say Madison's here and we're here, now we're gonna start trying to catch up in that. Yeah, and of course, I say some things tongue in cheek, and I'm always open to input as well. I'm not trying to run it like it's my thing.
Well, I have told folks that this is our opportunity as a community to get input on how we want to see growth happen in the county. Growth will happen, whether there's a plan or not. So we might as well get involved and have a plan or otherwise we're gonna be very upset.
Well, I'd say it even more sternly than that, which is change will happen. You could go to a place like Medora and say, hey, look what happened here.
Yeah.
Right? Because growth isn't necessarily gonna happen, change will happen.
We wanna guide the change, we wanna direct the change that fits the particular community, those locally and all around the county.
Any other new business or anything else that should come before us with the commission?
So next month, we don't have a riverfront license renewal, as that applicant doesn't currently have a license. So it's up to you guys if you want to meet next month or if you want to skip.
I vote skip.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah, I was biting my tongue and the word skip was behind it. But I just said, it's all on. Yeah.
Good job, Teresa.
I think if something were to come up.
Sure.
That we're emergent, we can
Exactly,
address that, but
yes.
I don't think we need to meet just to meet.
Right now, we don't have anything on the agenda, we don't have any.
You okay with that, David?
It's all an education for me.
All right.
I vote to adjourn, correct?
There's a motion to adjourn, all in favor?